Hello, and welcome to U.S. and World Politics Decoded. Today, we're diving deep into a hot topic that's shaking up the automotive world. President Trump's new tariffs on imported cars and auto parts. These tariffs are set to have widespread effects, but as we'll see, the impact will vary significantly from one car maker to another. Let's decode what this means for you, for the industry, and for international trade. On Wednesday, March 29, 2025, President Donald Trump announced new tariffs on imported cars and auto parts. This move is designed to protect American car manufacturers and encourage domestic production. However, the reality is far more complex. The automotive industry is a global network with intricate supply chains that crisscross borders. So, while the intention might be to boost U.S. manufacturing, the consequences will ripple across the globe. Tariffs, in essence, are taxes imposed on imported goods. By increasing the cost of foreign-made vehicles and components, the idea is to make American-made products more competitive. But here's the catch. Many car companies, even American ones, rely heavily on imported parts, or even import finished vehicles to sell in the United States. This means the tariffs could end up increasing costs for consumers and potentially harming the profitability of some major players. Let's start with Tesla. Interestingly, Tesla might be one of the least affected by these tariffs. Why? Because Elon Musk's company primarily manufactures the cars it sells in the U.S. in domestic factories, specifically in California and Texas. This means they're not as reliant on importing finished vehicles. However, Tesla isn't completely immune. Like most car makers, they source parts from overseas. About a quarter of the value of their components comes from abroad. So, tariffs on these parts could still increase their production costs. Additionally, Tesla is facing its own set of challenges, including a global sales slowdown. Musk's political stances have also reportedly alienated some buyers. And there's another twist. Some countries might retaliate against Trump's tariffs by targeting Tesla. We've already seen some Canadian provinces reduce incentives for Tesla electric vehicle purchases. Now let's turn our attention to General Motors, or GM. As one of the largest U.S. automakers, GM imports a significant portion of its best-selling and most profitable vehicles, particularly from Mexico. They have large manufacturing facilities in Mexico that produce models like the Chevrolet Silverado. In fact, about 40% of GM's U.S. sales last year were vehicles assembled abroad. This makes them quite vulnerable to Trump's tariffs. The tariffs could increase the cost of these imported vehicles, potentially impacting GM's profitability. However, there's a silver lining for GM. The company has been quite profitable in recent years, and many analysts consider them to be in a strong financial position. This financial strength could help them weather the storm better than some of their competitors, especially if the tariffs are eventually reduced or removed. Next up is Ford. Compared to many of its rivals, Ford is less reliant on imported cars. They manufacture about 80% of the vehicles they sell in the United States right here in the U.S. This means they should be relatively protected from the 25% tariffs on imported vehicles. However, like Tesla, Ford still depends on foreign factories for some key components, such as engines. For example, they have a factory in Ontario that produces engines for some of their popular pickup trucks. Additionally, Ford has been losing money on its electric vehicle ventures. One of their 3 battery-powered models, the Mustang Mach-E, is produced in Mexico. So while they're somewhat shielded on the vehicle side, they still face challenges related to parts and their EV strategy. Stellantis, the company formed by the merger of Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot, is another major player that utilizes overseas factories. They assemble some of their popular models, like the Ram trucks, in Mexico. The Chrysler Pacifica minivan is manufactured in Ontario, Canada. Stellantis has also been experiencing sluggish sales and is currently searching for a new CEO. These factors, combined with the tariffs, put Stellantis in a somewhat precarious position, especially if the tariffs remain in place for an extended period. Let's shift our focus to Toyota. Like other Japanese automakers, Toyota has a significant presence in the United States, selling 2.3 million cars in the country last year. However, about 1 million of those vehicles were manufactured in other countries, including Canada, Mexico, and Japan. This reliance on imports could pose a significant challenge for Toyota, as well as for other Japanese manufacturers like Subaru and Mazda, with whom Toyota collaborates closely. Despite this, Toyota is the world's largest car maker and is generally considered to be in a strong position. They are profitable, and analysts view them as one of the best-managed companies in the global automotive industry. This strength could help them navigate the tariff situation. Moving on to Volkswagen, the largest car maker in Europe. Volkswagen could be significantly impacted by the tariffs. They only have one factory in the United States, located in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where they produce the ID.4 and Atlas SUVs. They import many of their other vehicles, such as Audi and Volkswagen, from Mexico and Porsche from Germany. This heavy reliance on imports makes them particularly vulnerable to increased costs. Volkswagen has also faced financial headwinds in recent years due to a sharp decline in sales in China. They were hoping to make gains in the U.S. market, but Trump's tariffs could further complicate their efforts. Finally, let's discuss Hyundai and Kia, the South Korean automakers. These companies have seen impressive sales growth in the United States in recent years. They've also invested in a new electric vehicle factory in Georgia, which is ramping up production. This domestic production will help them avoid tariffs on some models. Interestingly, just recently, Hyundai's CEO, Sun Chung, announced at the White House that the company plans to invest an additional $21 billion in the United States, including a new steel factory in Louisiana. While Hyundai and Kia now have several factories in the U.S., they will still face tariffs on the hundreds of thousands of cars they import. Many of these vehicles come from South Korea, which has a trade agreement with the U.S. that was updated during Trump's first term. So, what's the big takeaway here? Trump's car tariffs are a complex issue with varying consequences. Some companies, like Tesla and Ford, with a stronger focus on domestic production, are relatively better positioned. Others, like GM, Stellantis, Toyota, and Volkswagen, which rely more heavily on imports, face greater challenges. The situation is further complicated by factors like global sales trends, individual company performance, and potential retaliatory measures from other countries. Thank you for joining us on U.S. and World Politics Decoded. I hope this breakdown has helped you understand the intricacies of Trump's car tariffs and their potential impact on the automotive industry. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more in-depth analysis of the forces shaping our world. Until next time, stay informed.